Welcome to Draft Thunder, Take 3. I'm Andrew,
And I'm Ben.
and we are here in our awesome setup, ready to bring you some awesome content for Week 1 NFL DFS. So,
Let's
yeah,
go.
we're excited. We're very excited. Hopefully take down some GPPs. We kind of had a good start tonight.
I would say so.
The game went like we thought it would. Low scoring.
Slam that under.
Yeah, we won that. That was easy money. It was at 45. We still liked it at 44 where we got it. And it got to what? 30?
30 on the dot.
30?
12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was easy pickings.
So for full transparency, it is 1:30 in the morning, Friday morning. Andrew has class in about, 8 hours. I don't. So we're going to drag this out as long as possible for him to not get enough sleep.
Okay.
Can't wait.
And bring you great analysis. Okay.
It's part of it.
We'll try our best.
No, we're kidding.
No, we've put a lot of work into this.
Too much.
Yeah. So, we're hoping to take down some GPPs this weekend, and we are going to start with quarterbacks. Who you got?
You want me to go first? Okay.
Yep.
So quarterback, it's a tight player pool this weekend, yeah. So paying down could be worth it, but if you're looking for a top tier type guy, I'm gonna start with Deshaun Watson. First things first is that game has the highest implied total, and what I mean by that is when Vegas sets the lines and the over-unders for these games, I'll go out and I'll look and see which games we expect to be high scoring. That game's set at 51 for the over-under, or it might even be 52. So that's highest we see this week. So if they're expecting a lot of points, we can expect a lot of points because Vegas knows more than us. So I'm looking at Deshaun Watson. I know he's coming off an injury, but he seemed to be looking really good throughout the offseason and everything.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about it a couple times. I don't like the Patriots defense that much. I think Deshaun Watson has all of his weapons back this year. With Will Fuller healthy, DeAndre Hopkins is healthy. Just adding to that system. He has a year under his belt now. You got the rushing ability. So yeah, I just think Deshaun Watson's in a really nice spot here, even though he is on the road.
Yeah, I completely agree. And CJ Fedorowicz, forgot about that, man.
I didn't want to talk about him.
Well, you gotta. The upside's there.
I get it. Is he even still on the team?
Probably not. Anyway,
Who knows?
my guy is going to be Tyrod Taylor this week.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably who I'm going to be rostering in most of my lineups because I know, at least on Draftkings, but I think on both sites, he's a very cheap option. I think he's 5'4" on Draftkings. But he is at home against Pittsburgh, and I think this would be a game where you normally expect Pittsburgh to blow them out, but obviously
Browns are
there's
better.
the whole problem with Bell. Pittsburgh is on the road, so yeah, we don't have to talk about Bell anymore. I know you kind of wanted to there, but like it's been going around the news too much.
Yeah.
Everyone's tired of it. Anyway, Roethlisberger struggles on the road. He found a bunch of stats on that. So this game's going to be close. Tyrod's going to get his points, and hopefully they'll get in the end zone a few times. I think with his rushing capability too, the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
He offers that possibility in the rushing yards, possibly rushing touchdown, and he's got the weapons this year to do it. So I really like Tyrod Taylor this week.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He's definitely a guy if you're looking to save money at quarterback, which we normally would advise on.
Yeah.
Even though my guys aren't going to sound like that, which
No.
is very atypical of me.
But like we said, that's going to be our strategy going into the season for the most part.
Right.
Unless there's some guy who's like a home run play. Like Deshaun Watson, he really is. But you just have to look for that.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go next. I'm just going to talk real quickly about him, and then I'm going to go to my last guy. So I'm just going to go to the other side of the ball there. Tom Brady, if you want to pay up for the top quarterback, they have... I don't even know what they have at running back. Everybody's questionable, or they're all going to play. Who knows? I never trust their running back rotation anyway. I expect Brady to throw the ball a lot. Not a ton of options in the receiving core this week, but I don't think that matters too much. We'll talk about that when we hit wide receiver and tight ends. But I just think Brady is in a really good spot again with that implied total at home. First game of the season, he's going to want to show up. So then the last guy I have here is going to be Kirk Cousins. Again, he's going to be a little bit more expensive this week, but just the amount of options on that team. I know Richard Sherman is now on the 49ers. Okay, the 49ers were third worst against the pass last year. You bring in Richard Sherman, it's not going to change everything. They still have a lot of holes to fill on that side of the ball, and so Richard Sherman can't cover Diggs, Thielen, Rudolph. I mean, even they lost or Laquan Treadwell. Yeah, even if he decides to show up and play a little bit, they can't cover everybody.
And they'll have to cover the run with Dalvin.
Exactly, they're going to be stacking the box, or not exactly stacking. They can't stack the box, but yeah, I just think Kirk is in a good spot here. Again, another quarterback that's going to be more mid to upper price, but in a week where there's not like a huge differential in price, I believe Tom is 7.2 and Tyrod's 5.4.
Yeah.
So 1,800, I think you can find that this week with maybe one of our guys at tight end. So little foreshadowing there.
Yeah, and I think he'll be lower owned. I think he's not somebody that a whole bunch of people are looking at, since 49ers might be ranked middle of the pack, but really they're not at all. I also think that Tom Brady would be a good cash game play opposed to GPP play. I think he's got that high floor, like we've talked about all season. I have one more play, and that would be Drew Brees. So
Brees at home.
He's at home, and the Buccaneers secondary is god awful. And we'll talk about that when we go into receivers, because we have a few that we're locking in on, and one is definitely Michael Thomas. But anyway, with Drew Brees, my only concern is that they will blow them out.
Right.
And that eventually they won't be passing the ball as much. They'll just try and be running out the clock, which is also lead to Kamara possibly, since he's one of the only options. There's a lot of ways you can go with this game, but I believe the Saints will put up a lot of points, and Brees would be the guy to have.
Yep. You're going to hear us talk about splits a couple times throughout the year, and Brees at home is definitely a huge thing. He just plays way better in that dome. And the Saints have 2 whole running backs on their roster. And I don't think they're going to run Kamara into the ground this week. So, and Gillisley's been there for 2 weeks?
Yeah, not in the system yet.
Exactly. So I think Brees is actually going to see an uptick in his attempts than you saw last year.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, that's our quarterbacks. So yeah, if you're paying down, we'd go Tyrod. I think you messed that up. It's Tyrod.
I definitely did.
Come on, get it right.
He said he's okay with either. Whatever.
Yeah, whatever. That's fine. And we're going to stay off a couple of those, maybe mid-tier at this point, just looking at some of the teams that these guys are playing. Maybe trendy pick of Pat Mahomes. I don't trust him or anything yet. Jimmy Garoppolo, too good of a defense. It's just a lot of things going on in that middle tier that we don't love. So those are the guys we're looking at.
Yeah, people hopefully pick just for the names, and hopefully they just won't be there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Yep.
All
so
right.
we'll move on to running backs.
Apparently that's what's next.
And we're going to lead it off with the chalk. The chalkiest of the chalk.
Happy James Conner chalk week.
James Conner.
Who would have ever heard that?
Page.
Yeah.
Why would we be on the same page? Because, of course, he is the guy who everybody's going to roster. And you would hear this, and you might be like, I don't want to play him because you want to win some GPPs. But the thing is, if a guy is this price and he goes absolutely off, you got to play him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying you got to play him because we don't say you got to play him. We just advise you to play him.
Yeah, it's almost like a Julio Jones situation. You're doing nothing without him, even if he was 80% owned. So in a situation where again, maybe Le'Veon Bell shows up, but that's a whole different issue. James Conner's going to be the guy. He looked pretty good in preseason, actually.
He did. He was catching a lot of passes, so I think he is offering a lot to your team, especially on DraftKings. He'll get you those, I think, 5 catches maybe.
Right.
If I could take a guess at it, I think he's going to be the back the whole game. I don't expect to really see anybody else because if there is a problem with Bell, they want him to be their guy.
Absolutely. And sub 5K. This game actually even has a little bit of a weather element to it. Our weather boy went to sleep.
He did.
So we don't have a huge handle on it, but it's fine. But that should just lead to even more rushing attempts and things of that nature for Conner.
Yes, it should.
So hopefully he can hold on to the ball.
Yep. Another guy that I'm going to be looking at, I'll just talk about them both. One is Alex Collins, and the other is David Johnson. So Alex Collins is going against a very weak Buffalo Bills running defense. Do you remember what they're ranked?
So last year they were last in the league against the run.
Yeah, not great.
But they did upgrade the defense with Star Lotulelei and in the draft with Edmonds. So, Lotulelei does stop the run a little bit better than any of their guys ever have. But it's again, we're talking like that Richard Sherman situation where one guy's not going to improve the entire unit. So
Yeah.
if they change from last to fifth to last, that's fine by me.
And this is also another situation where I see them. We're not biased. We're not. We try not to be. But I think the Ravens are going to beat the Bills by 10 plus, and I think they're going to be ahead, wanting to run the ball a lot for second down throughout most of the second half of the game. So Alex Collins should see a lot of rushes.
Yeah, and they showed their commitment to him in the preseason by not even playing him in a few of those games. So he's the guy. There's no question.
Yeah, and the last guy that I have, I might as well just run through them all.
Yeah, go for it.
Is David Johnson. So
Love David.
this is the all-star that, in my opinion, I'm probably going to be rostering this week. Him along with Michael Thomas, those high-priced guys, maybe Antonio Brown. Again, we'll get to that. But the Redskins' run defense is also completely garbage. It's terrible. David Johnson is one of the only guys on this Cardinal offense who's going to produce, besides Fitzgerald maybe. But they're going to be looking to get Johnson back in the flow of things. Again, like we've talked about before, it wasn't like a knee injury, it wasn't a leg injury last season. It was a hand, thumb injury, wrist. I think it was a wrist.
One of them.
Something here.
It was the hand bone connects to the finger. Yeah, something.
And that wasn't affecting his run game. He probably spent the offseason even training harder, if I could assume.
He looked great.
He looks really good. And I think that he could possibly get you 20-plus points in DraftKings this week. He could absolutely go off. He will also get 5-plus receptions, I'm almost positive of, because I remember he's an absolute monster in the receiving game.
Yep.
And I think he's great on both sides. He's probably the guy that I'm looking to spend up to this week.
Absolutely. I'm with you there with David Johnson. We'll quick touch on Kamara. I expect a decent to big game out of him. Again, I don't expect them to run him into the ground. They know they have 4 weeks without Ingram. But I will say Kamara should be in a really good spot here against Tampa Bay's weak defense. A bunch of catches. Should get 15 or so carries, 5 catches. That's probably all you need from him. But in a scenario where I'm paying up, I'm probably going to try to get to David Johnson for just 300 more. But I do think Kamara would be a decent play, but I think he's going to be really high owned.
Yeah, I hate Kamara so much. I never play him, and he always goes off. And I play him, and he goes off still. So,
right.
Like, just mix them in your lives, maybe.
Yeah, honestly. A little differentiation never hurts. I got 2 more guys here. One of them is going to be one of the guys we talked about a lot in preseason and just how much we think he's going to go off this year over the course of the season. It's going to be Christian McCaffrey. So, on the surface, Dallas looks like pretty stout against the run, and you would say, why would I mention Christian McCaffrey? That would be because Dallas cannot defend running backs out of the backfield catching passes. They are 7th, or I can't count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th worst in terms of receptions against running backs out of the backfield, and about 7th worst in terms of targets. So last year they gave up 97 catches to running backs out of the backfield. I'm not very good at math, but that's about 5 per game. And now you factor in a guy that is going to be used a lot out of the backfield. Cam doesn't have a lot of options to throw to. He's got Devin Funches, DJ Moore, Greg Olsen, and Christian McCaffrey.
And Torrey Smith.
I'm sorry.
Torrey Smith.
Oh, Torrey Smith, right, yeah. Okay.
Him and Cam go to lunch together, just saying.
Okay, yeah. You follow their Instagrams, we get it.
They had a kid's birthday party here. Not the point.
Not the point.
He's going to get a lot of volume.
Yeah. So you factor in an average of 5 catches per game, and then you factor in the fact that McCaffrey's going to get that anyway. Yes. You're going to look at maybe 7 to 8 catches. That starts you off of a floor of 7 to 8. Off of those, you get the yards, and then all the carries he's going to get around 15. If he finds the end zone, he's looking at a 25, 30-point game, and at a mid-tier price, you're going to really be liking that. And even, little 4 o'clock exposure, watching the game of the week. Right. Anyway.
Yeah, big fan of that. That's caught me a few times.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely, I really like Christian McCaffrey in this spot. They want him to be the bell cow, so why not start in week 1? And then the last guy I just want to touch on real quick. Let me get back to my sortable stats here. It's going to be Joe Mixon. Sortable structure? Yeah, It's going to be Joe Mixon. Indianapolis did nothing really notable to upgrade that front 7, which ranked bottom 7 against the run last year. Again, another situation where there's no more Jeremy Hill. Joe Mixon is going to be the guy going forward. We've seen him catch balls out of the backfield, even though they do have Geo. So maybe you won't see him as much in a 2-minute drill type thing. But I expect this game to be close. Joe Mixon should see a lot of carries, a lot of time on the field. And when Andy Dalton starts freaking out, which happens, about 6-7 times a game, he's going to look to check that ball down. So I'm looking at Joe Mixon as one of those last guys to kind of fill in my lineups with, or kind of differentiate myself from some other players. So
I hate Joe Mixon.
That's fair.
But I think they want to use him a lot this year. I think they want him to be the guy. So I don't hate the play, sadly. I have the Colts winning in my thing, too. Okay.
I said it was going to be close. I didn't say they were going to lose.
Colts are going to win.
We'll see.
Vinatieri. Clutch.
Let's hope.
Is that all you got for running backs?
That is all I have for running backs. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going because I want to sleep. So, we're going to move on to receivers. I'm just going to go through all three again because I kind of like the way I did that.
Okay.
Michael Thomas.
Yep.
Talked about him already. Bucks, absolute worst against receivers. They are absolute worst with fantasy points, targets, receptions, everything. Not targets, which is good. Receiving yards, maybe not so much touchdowns, but yards. They are up there in everything. They're awful. The Saints, who they got? They got one guy. That's Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
And the thing is, usually if you have one guy, you can't cover him. Or you can, double team him. And then
He's too big.
I don't know about too big.
6'3", dog.
He's okay. But anyway, I think that the Bucks don't really have anybody that can match up with him at all. And with those possible fantasy points, I think that he has huge upside here. He is Mr. Consistency.
Yes.
So even paying his price, if he didn't have that great of a game, which I don't see happening. I do not see him not having that great of a game. But if he doesn't, he's still going to get you the value that you need for his price.
Yep. Just in a very similar spot, and I just pulled it up from last year. Very similar spot where the Saints won the game 30-10. Michael Thomas didn't find the end zone, but he saw 11 targets, caught 8 passes for 65 yards. So, that's only 14 points, but if he finds the end zone, you're looking at 20 plus. And some of those passes could even be for better yardage. And then when they went to Tampa Bay, it was a little bit of a closer game. They actually lost the game. He saw 6 catches for 8 targets for 94 yards. So a combined 14 catches on 19 targets for him against the Buccaneers last year. I think I'll take that any day of the week. So I'm way with you on Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I completely agree. And let's just refer to something else that happened last year. Somebody that I like to compare Michael Thomas to, being that receiver on his team, would be Julio. That big target, athletic guy. That was the game last year where Julio went absolutely off. That's awesome. I'm trying to look at stats here. Against the Buccaneers. I hate that commercial. He got 12 catches, 253 yards, and 2 touchdowns against the Bucs.
Yeah.
Because they have absolutely nobody who can cover you.
Yeah.
So there's going to be tons of mismatches on the defense, and I expect him to go absolutely off. That's pretty much.
And if we're wrong and the Bucs can keep this close, it's even better. Let's just hope Michael Thomas finds the end zone here. I expect a little bit of positive regression from him. Only 5 touchdowns last year for a dude that's 6'3".
Yeah.
I'd expect him to get up to 8 or so this year, so I'm looking at him to really break through.
Yep. Next guy, Adam Thielen, the Vikings. So something that Ben was looking at earlier, we were trying to figure out who Richard Sherman's going to be covering, what side he plays on. He is, for the most part, going to be against Diggs, that you end up finding.
Yeah, Diggs and Thielen kind of interchange a lot, but it seemed like... Awesome, that's not popping up. It seemed like Diggs plays a little bit more to Richard Sherman's side. They're both going to share time in the slot, but I think Sherman will stick with Diggs a little bit more.
Yeah, and if that happens, when that happens, I think that Thielen is going to get open in the middle of the field, and they are going to have nobody that covers him. The 49ers are not good against the slot. They run a lot of zone, and that zone does not work.
No.
They run zone and press, and then some man, I think. But Thielen absolutely devours the zone.
Yeah, he kills zone.
That's when he goes completely off. So I think this is a huge opportunity for him to get open and completely take over, because they're going to need him too if Diggs can cover on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if San Francisco decides to go zone in this scenario, that would mean that Richard Sherman's just sticking in one area, and they're going to do whatever they can to get their guys open off of Richard Sherman. So, yeah, if they decide to play zone, Thielen eats zones for breakfast. So, yeah, I like Thielen.
Yeah, I like Thielen. The problem is his price does scare me. He's kind of up there with some other receivers. He's only a little bit cheaper than Odell. So the thing that I don't like is he's not really a touchdown guy.
Right.
He's going to get you probably or possibly like 9-10 catches for like 70 yards. So if he produces that, which I see him possibly doing in this game, that'll be great. And I think I have one more guy.
Yeah,
is that going to be Hogan?
3.
It's going to be Hogan.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you want to talk about Hogan, but I'm going to talk about Hogan.
You take Hogan. I had him, but you
Okay.
take him.
Well, Hogan's kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah,
honestly.
hit on him a little with Brady.
Like with their whole situation, obviously Edelman's not playing. We know that. Gronk is gonna be one of the really good options. We'll talk about that later too. But honestly, a whole New England stack is a really good possibility here. I know that Houston does have some decent cornerbacks. The best they have is like Jonathan Joseph, I think. Right? They still have him. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
But anyway, Hogan will be running all over the place. He runs out of the left, right, and the slot. He's all over the field. And I think that his splits without Edelman are huge. Like, he gets a lot more targets, obviously. That's self-explanatory. And without Amendola, a lot of the shares will go to him and the running back game, which could include, like, James White and stuff. But I think that backfield's too much of a mess to even touch. Apparently, Burkhead might be a good option this week.
Sony might even play.
Hey, we're just saying it just in case, you know.
No, that backfield's a mess. I never try to predict a Belichick backfield.
No, we can pick someone else relatively the same or better somewhere else instead of getting lucky with one of the guys in their backfield.
Exactly.
So I really like Hogan to get you the points that you need this week, and I think that Brady gives him the targets, maybe 8, 9.
Oh yeah, Tom Brady
Like at least.
really likes Chris Hogan too.
And this will be a close game.
We expect this to be a close game, close high-scoring game. Hogan's got to be the guy because they just have nobody behind him right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really like Chris Hogan. Okay, so I'm just going to hit on the second chalk of the week, as also a Steeler. Hey, Antonio Brown. Just if you are playing cash, I think Antonio Brown's a really good option here. Just because without Le'Veon Bell over their careers, when Le'Veon Bell doesn't play, Antonio Brown has averaged 13 targets, which is insane. Last year at Cleveland week 1, I believe he went 10 for 108. I don't think he scored. But, yeah, that's just a super safe floor in cash. We really like the idea of playing the ownership game in GPPs and moving to Michael Thomas or even another guy I'm going to hit on real quick after that. So if you're playing ownership game, yeah, maybe don't hit Antonio Brown, but I would definitely sprinkle him in, hey, Jeremy Sprinkle, into a few different lineups. Just because of the super safe floor and the fact that he normally does pretty well against the Browns.
Yeah, and real quick, with him and James Conner, you might want to push for Ben Roethlisberger play to stack. Again, kind of advise not to. Don't really see him going off. I see him literally just getting those passes to Antonio Brown and running the ball.
Yeah.
And dumping it off. So I think he'll still struggle, but I think Antonio Brown will still have a good game too.
Yeah, Juju would be a little interesting if you really wanted to go cheap and still get a piece of that offense. But he's not on my list personally, but, you know, if you want to throw him in, I don't hate it. Another one is going to be Danny Amendola now with the Dolphins. That's another cash play. Just going to be running out of the slot with Miami. They don't have Parker this week. They obviously lost Landry. They just lost their starting tight end Gray, so they brought in Gavin Escobar, so they don't really have a tight end to go to. So Kenny Stills is going to be the starter, so that's just a GP. If you want to get a piece of the Dolphins offense, which I don't know if I want, Danny Amendola in cash I think is going to get a lot of targets. Tennessee runs sort of that defense where they funnel to the middle of the field and the slot should be pretty open. So I kind of like Danny Amendola for like 6 or 7 targets. But Stills is the playmaker. He's got way better talent. So if you're looking for a big play kind of guy, I don't hate Kenny Stills in GPPs.
Yep.
Just gonna keep rolling.
Just go with her.
Yeah, the next one I mentioned earlier that if you didn't want to play Antonio Brown, you didn't want to play Michael Thomas, or you didn't want to pay all the way up, I do like Keenan Allen this week.
Yes.
He's another one of those guys that kills zones. And another slot guy that they tried to force outside, and he still produced really, really well. When he's in the slot, though, that's where his natural position is. And now they finally have two guys that can play the outside. He's going to move inside. The Chiefs are going to have no answer for it. I see Andrews look over here like he doesn't believe me.
No. I was just going to say, do you know who the second worst team against receivers was?
I'm going to go Chiefs.
It was the Chiefs.
Yeah, so love Keenan Allen. I expect them to stop the run a little bit against Melvin Gordon. So I really do expect Keenan to have a really, really nice game. So kind of those Keenan Allen, Michael Thomas, Antonio Brown, pick one of the three. I don't know who's going to come in at least ownership. I know Brown's going to be most. Between Thomas and Keenan,
I'd guess Keenan Allen.
I would expect Keenan. I'd expect them both to be about 10 to 12, though.
Yeah, they're both good plays.
And then I'll mention this at the end. It's not really receivers on my board. It's just a different thing. So I'll mention it at the end.
And also Keenan Allen last year had Hunter Henry getting a pretty good amount of targets. He's not even
mention that. Yeah, Antonio Gates is brought back, but
that's just goal line.
Yeah.
And he'll steal our touchdowns, obviously, because that would just be awesome. And
absolutely.
We love tight ends here. Let's move on, right?
We should rename our podcast to Tight Ends. It's 150. I'm sorry.
You're done? Receivers?
I'm done with receivers, yeah.
All right, tight ends. Don't have great options here.
Oh, I love my options.
I'm just kidding. So, tight ends is a position where, personally...
Hey, week four of the preseason. Just saying. We put up that montage about how much we sucked at tight ends, and then boom, they came through. What's up, Mark Andrews, Devin Kajust? Let's go.
Yeah, half them went off. It was a little ridiculous. Kajust was not in the montage, sadly. But I think some of the other guys did. Oh, it's just this is a mess. So
go.
One of the guys that I'm paying down for is Ricky Seals-Jones.
Yes, absolutely.
Redskins suck. That's just how I'm gonna put. They absolutely suck against tight ends. And
it's been a thing for 5 years. They just don't care.
It really is. I don't know why, because it's not like they're winning games. You
right.
know? Like if they're a team and they were able to take care of it, fine. But anyway, they've consistently been top or bottom 5, bottom 6 against tight ends,
right.
And for the most part, it's not even they give up a lot of looks at tight ends, but it's a lot of touchdowns and a lot of deep pass yards. So Ricky Seals, I know he's the guy who they want to step up after Gresham, and he should get a lot of playing time this game, and hopefully at least a lot of looks. They don't have many options, like we said before. It's David Johnson, Larry Fitz, and then the next guy will be Christian Kirk or Chad Williams. I know Chad Williams is starting. I was kind of thinking about him, but do you really want to play him? It's not. It'd be a big punt play.
Yeah,
like Pat McAfee punt out there
for the brand.
For the brand.
Shout out! Hey, can anyone please get him on our?
Hey, if he's a free agent, we're here.
Yeah, we try tweeting at him.
Boost our brand.
Let him know.
We'd love follow us on Twitter. Hey, we they're out there. Yeah,
we would love to hear from him.
And you,
and all of you.
Less than a hairline still. Anyway, he should be a really good play. And I think at that price, if he gets you 10 plus points, that will be golden.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that he's got the potential to do that.
Yeah, I really like Ricky Seals this week. I liked him last year. He just never got the targets or anything. But this year, they really sound committed to him. Yep. So yeah, I'm all in on Ricky Seals-Jones for the most part.
Also, keep watch if Jermaine Gresham does play, and if we hear something about him starting. I don't think he is, because I think they want Ricky Seals to be their guy.
I don't think it's happening.
Just in case, follow us. We'll tweet it out.
Yeah, I don't see that happening though. I think you can set him in there and use that as a good basis for your lineup.
It should be.
So I guess I'll just move up one in price here. So the next guy is going to be a middle tier tight end. Middle to upper tier, I guess, really. It's going to be Delaney Walker.
It's pretty upper tier.
Pretty upper tier, yeah. Top 4. It's fine. So, yeah, sorry. What was I looking at? Miami last year says they were, it says even they were 32nd worst against tight ends. Because they actually were. We talked about how Draftkings is sometimes wrong on that. But yeah, looking at the stats from last year, they gave up a ton to tight ends, and we didn't even realize it until we started doing research this week. Over 1,000 yards, 94 catches, and 10 touchdowns. So I'm not going to try to do that math because I'm fried. My brain is fried at this point. Yeah. Wow. That just sounded awful. Yeah. Not true. My brain is just fried. It's Okay.
Keep going.
Moving on. So yeah, Miami's worst against tight ends. Delaney Walker is a really good tight end. And like we said, or we haven't said yet, but Tennessee is going to want to run the ball, going to want to use short to intermediate passes.
Yeah.
And, they have Corey Davis on the outside. He's looking to take a step up this year. They just don't have a ton in terms of receivers. So I think Delaney Walker is going to own the middle here, and hopefully he gets in the end zone if you're paying that price.
Yeah, I like him a lot this week, too.
Yep. I got one more. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, great.
Oh, no, definitely not. Sorry. Yikes. Go ahead first.
Okay.
I'll finish up.
So again here, it's gonna just go with this Patriots stack. It's gonna be Gronk to finish it out. But it's gonna be so for me, Gronk isn't gonna be my tight end. He's gonna be my flex. I'm gonna play Ricky Seals at tight end and Gronk at flex if I'm doing this. And I just think it gives you a little bit of leverage playing that double tight end over the rest of the field.
Yeah.
And like we said, we project Ricky Seals to do really nicely here. And then Gronk, again, with that lack of receiving depth, we just see him doing really, really well. Houston was bottom 5 against tight ends last year as well. So, if I'm looking at a possible stack for the highest potential or the highest projected game total, and I can get pretty much the whole Patriots passing game, I really like that idea. So I know one of the stacks I'm going to be rolling with already is going to be a Brady, Hogan, Gronk stack, and then what I was mentioning earlier is I'm going to bring that back with Will Fuller. Just as a word of advice, when you're playing, if you have a stack and you expect them to score a lot, you're probably expecting the other team to keep up a little bit. So it's usually a good idea to bring it back with a player from the other side of the ball.
I don't think you mentioned Will Fuller.
No, he was the guy I was saying I was going to mention later. Will Fuller is actually at a pretty depressed price this week at 5-1.
Yeah.
So if you're playing that Patriots deck, I don't love Will Fuller by himself, but if you're playing that Patriots deck, I think Will Fuller would be the guy to go back to. The Patriots shut down number 1 receivers, which is interesting. They always have done it. Belichick isn't going to let that guy beat you. So it almost always works to the fact where that number 1 receiver doesn't do that well. So I think it's going to open up a lot for Will Fuller in that passing game. So you could even run a Deshaun Fuller and then Hogan Gronk type thing, or a full Patriots, bring it back with Fuller. I think that sets you up for a really nice floor. I think that would be a pretty nice cash game lineup.
Yeah, a few things about Gronk and Houston's D. Houston's D is the 4th worst.
Yeah.
So they're up there with the Giants and the Broncos, who we also hate. And another team that... Hold on, who did we just say? Yeah. Sorry about that. Let me retrack. Gronk costs 6'9".
Right.
So, if you're making the decision to play him at flex,
Nice.
start to compare him to the other receivers and running backs who are around that price. Because, like I said, Thielen's that price. So, if you think that Gronk will do better than Thielen, you could definitely go that route. I know there's definitely some interesting running backs too, like Gordon, Barkley. They don't have the best matchups.
I don't like Barkley this week.
Okay, wow. There's his bold opinion. I think he'll take some adjusting too to get into. Jacksonville's D is not the best to start off against.
No, that I did want to hit on that. Sorry, Jacksonville's D. It says they're ranked 21st against the run. After they traded for Marcel Darius, they were top 3 against the run.
Wow.
Yeah, he made a huge difference in that front line, and they've even added to that defense. So I know it said that they are 29th. It even says they're against the run. I was looking at Fournette.
Fool's gold.
Yeah, don't pay attention to that stat. After the Darius trade, they are way, way, way better against the run.
That's our inside scoop.
Yeah.
Super good. So, this is going to be the tight end that I'm going to say, and he's going to get hurt the first play of the game. It's Jordan Reed. So, Jordan Reed is a fantastic ball player. He really is.
He can't take a hit.
He just can't take a hit. So, let's snag him while we can week 1 before he's done.
Maybe.
And the Cardinals are also a team that we have seen to be really bad against tight ends.
You're never going to get Jordan Reed at 4,000.
No.
I mean, he's right.
It's a good play. It should be a good play. And Jordan Reed is
They come out and said they want him to play a lot too.
Yeah, and they say he's ready to go because they're probably tired of it. We talk about all these teams when somebody gets very injured, like it happens over and over again. They're tired of it. They want to see these guys, see if he can come back from it, and if not, it's probably gonna be it for him. If I see it happening again.
I mean, Alex Smith, now their quarterback. Love Travis Kelce, very
Love
similar
Travis
guy.
Kelce.
So, yeah. I really do like Jordan Reed. He's a great player. Just, I hope he plays all game.
I think we got some good tight ends this week. I'm just going to say it.
Why would you say that? All right, fire up Vernon Davis.
Fire up Jeremy Sprinkle.
Yep.
If he's still on the team, probably
He definitely got
not.
caught.
We're moving on to defenses because we are wrapping this show up this week. Ravens.
Yeah. Really, really good game stack there. Jeremy Sprinkle made the team, according to DraftKings.
Wow, good for him.
Um,
Probably shouldn't have. Didn't touch the field.
no, he played the whole game. He
I
didn't touch
know.
the ball.
Yeah, you're...
Sorry, Ravens defense. I'm sorry.
This sucks. No, but seriously, Nathan Peterman is hot garbage. I don't care if we said this before and we kind of got burned on it. That was preseason. This is real football. This is our starting defense. We are going to sack him, in my guess, 3 to 5 times. 3 to 5 times, 1 forced fumble, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. That's Nathan
Oh, a
Peterman's
tutty.
stat line. Yeah, he gets a touchdown. He gets
Oh,
one
he
in
gets.
there.
I thought you meant the defense.
Nah, he gets
a
one
tutty.
in there.
Ah,
Nah.
okay.
We might, but I'm not going to say that.
Fair enough. Yeah, nice little game stack if you run Ravens defense with Alex Collins. Again, if you're looking at game flow, and we expect the Ravens to win by a lot, Ravens defense should do pretty well. That means we're going to run the clock out. We're going to run the ball at the end of the game. Leads to more Alex Collins carries. So a nice little game flow stack there. Another weather game. Keep your eye on that.
Weather ball.
Yeah, he's asleep.
I know.
Loser.
Sad.
But yeah, wet ball. Maybe a couple picks.
A little slip.
Yeah, hopefully it just falls in our laps.
Yep. And the money falls right in our laps too.
Exactly. So
Or your guys' laps. That's the dream.
That's the dream. I do have a couple other ones because now we've mentioned.
I do too. We're super biased.
Well, we've also mentioned 3 of the top priced players on each of their columns, so at each position. So
Cardinals.
just keep shouting them out. That's what we do.
You know, I'm just gonna shout mine out, and you'll play them. Cardinals, Saints, Ravens. They're my 3.
Congrats.
Self-explanatory.
Titans, Chargers, Ravens. Those are my 3. Titans and Chargers. Do I have to talk about them?
I don't know about Titans.
Right. The Titans. Like
But
we
it's
said,
also the Dolphins.
Miami has nobody.
Then why are we playing 2 Miami guys?
No. Well, yeah. But they're going to sack Tannehill.
Yeah, no. They're gonna go off on him probably.
Maybe. They're just a lower price defense that
They
I threw
are.
in there.
They're
All right,
good.
whatever.
They're good.
And the Chargers are even less than the Titans, but I really don't like Pat Mahomes. That's about it.
Yeah, but let's just get that Mahomes. Anyway, my favorite would probably be the Saints play. If you were looking to pay up Saints or Ravens, maybe if you have that weird price range where you can't afford the Ravens. The Saints have a very high possibility of scoring a touchdown, in my opinion, in this game because I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is gonna blow, and I think that they're gonna
He
lock
went to
down.
Harvard, bro.
You're right. He's smart. He's got the IQ.
He can read the defense.
Yeah, like a book. So really, they're one of the top ones to pay for, and then Cardinals D, they have been applying really good pass rushing in the preseason, and I think it's one of their strongest points. I expect to see a good number of sacks from them too, and hopefully, even if the Redskins score like 10 to 20 points, the sacks will cover it, and the Cardinals D will get you 10 plus, hopefully at 2,500. That'd be really nice.
Yeah, it's a good little pump play.
Yeah.
You wanna
Some roster room.
You wanna say the Browns as a pump play? Nah, he doesn't want to do it. Okay.
But like, if they score that touchdown, man.
Yeah, well, that could be anybody at this
James
point.
Conner? Okay. We've been talking
What
about James Conner a bunch.
He doesn't play defense.
He's kind of still a rookie.
Ish.
He's
like
kind
his third year.
He's but like, come on, we know. He had some trouble coming in. Anyway,
Come on.
he's not very
That's messed
experienced. He's not very Shut up. He's not very experienced. He's gonna be on the road, and he get a little shook. So I could actually see him getting fumbling for a touchdown, getting fumbling for a touchdown, and like
You're just saying things at this point.
and Ben Roethlisberger makes mistakes. I kind of like it. I won't play them, but
Please, just don't do it. I was joking.
stick to the 3 that I said.
Maybe
His are a little wild.
I love wild defenses.
Another guy for throwing there, Allen Hurns.
Gotta stop.
I know we're at the end here, and really we shouldn't even be talking about Allen Hurns, but
Then why?
think
Why?
Hold on, I got.
That's it for us at Draft Thunder.